Hello everyone, TLSG here. Today we're going to be running a Stature Hawk deck. Now this is very similar to the old Stature stat deck that just dominated the game for a while. Really the major change is going to be that instead of Miles Morales, we have Iron Lad. Iron Lad gives us a little bit more flexibility than a traditional list, albeit not quite as consistent of a last turn kind of burst play, but everything else, it can kind of increase that high roll. Maybe you hit Black Bolt, maybe you hit a Nebula, another Korg, a Zabu, a Polaris, to get a bigger discount on some of your cards and just impact the game in a positive way. And so overall, I think this went out of the meta because it wasn't necessarily supportive of this type of deck. But what we've been seeing over the last couple of days, or last couple of weeks rather, is that a Thanos Control heavy build is becoming very dominant. According to Untapped, it is one of the top performing decks in Conquest, in the gold tier, and it's won the 128 player Snap Battle Arena tournament 2 weeks in a row. The same deck list won 2 weeks in a row from different people that were navigating it. And so we need something that is going to do well into that. And this, I think, is going to do that. We have Enchantress because we have ongoings that are starting to creep back into the meta. We have the disruption, especially for a Thanos list, where draw is so important in getting your stones to get your resources. If you can disrupt them and give them a different kind of stone in the rocks, then they lose a lot of potential value. And then in addition to that, we have the powerful combo of the Hawk, the Shang-Chi, and then sometimes we're going to get a really cheap Stature as well. The one thing that this list does not contain is a locational control card. Now, if you're still seeing Legion, this can pump out some power relatively early, but you're going to have to really hope and rely that you get the key resources that you need before Legion copies a flooded location. So a Hawk, a Iron Lad into a Hawk, maybe Nebula, some disruption with the Iceman to make Legion cost 6 instead of 5 is beautiful value, and then just a couple of other ways that we can beat that matchup. But we're going to be jumping straight into a gold conquest run. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, the Red Skull is massive, and it is massively gone as well. And so the left location should be a surefire lock with the Hawk over there. If we get something cheap, can they ever beat 18 power in the left lane? Not if they fight for Shadowland. I'm going to move the negative ninja. That way that puts them having to invest a resource here. If it comes down to a tiebreaker and we tie in this lane, then we should win the 100 point differential in the right lane. So that is what we're going to end up going with. Whoa, they do stack fully in the right lane. Oh no. Can they beat the 14 power? They can, and they will. Oh, that's unfortunate. All we had to do was play for mid, and we had this one locked away. Jumping into round number 2, Nebula starting off is big. We have the Black Bolt to make them discard their hopefully Ebony Maw. That was big. The Lizard, Ebony Maw, and then just those low-cost cards. A lot of the Sauron Shuri decks did start going away from like those really cheap resources, and holding them till the very end of the game was actually very, very important for them. Mindscape. I don't care for the Mindscape location. Let's go Iceman in the left. That means we're not going to go Black Bolt because the one that would give us one less resource to draw into on that last turn, and then 2 it'd give them a really cheap stat. I guess it wouldn't give them a cheap Stature. Into Weird World. What a strange game we have going on. Ooh, the Sauron. We do want to use that, right? If they draw into our Hawk, the Sauron's actually nasty, because then they're just going to be sitting with a useless Hawk. So we're going to do Sauron. They do use Zabu, okay, and then the Ebony Maw is big in that left lane. We are continuing to scale in Weird World. If we go Rock Slide, that gives them, whenever we change, that gives us a worse chance of drawing certain resources. But when we switch, we can always have those resources held. I think we're going to go Rock Slide in the left. We're going to go very heavy into this left lane. Ooh, the Shuri is kind of scary. Because if they had their Red Skull already, that's huge. It's massive. So Ebony Maw still has its ability. So all we have to do is like a Stature over there. And then we're looking to outpower them on the last turn. Now, it really depends on how much and what they drop. The Shang-Chi, okay, that's not as big as it could have been. That is not anywhere near as big as it could have been. They're going to have a Black Bolt, a Typhoid Mary, but that hurts all of their other lanes if they go with the Typhoid Mary route. Oh, that's huge. Red Skull Korg? Where do we want to fight for? I feel like they have to play into the Nebula lane, knowing that it becomes so close. So we're actually going to play Red Skull in mid. We're going to do Korg in mid. That gives an extra 2 here. And I think we're fine with that. Okay, they split it. The Typhoid Mary on the right. Okay. And then the Polaris pulling our Nebula. That's huge. We will absolutely take that. That should be 2 of the 4 cubes back in our favor. And we need to jump into. We just need to continue chipping that same way. And we will be able to claw our way back into this gold conquest run. Having the Shang-Chi, having the Enchantress are going to be, I think, pretty beneficial and critical for us in this match at being able to take down their armor and then hidden high power cards. Korg on 1, Zabu on 2, Iron Lad on 3. Let's go. We'll send it all the way in. We also have Black Bolt, so if they use Sauron and we're worried about them throwing down, I don't know, another Ebony Maw, we can make them discard that card. Okay, so Korg is going to add that disruption. Zabu coming in huge here. If we can draw our Rock Slide as well, we'll do Rock Slide on 3. If not, then maybe we do something a little bit different. But early on, we are going to stack pretty heavily in this left lane. Probably 3 out of the 4. That way we can reinforce it a little bit if we need to. Ooh, White Hot Room. They could potentially flood that and get it capped out. We reveal first here. Let's go... I always get distracted. We can go Iron Lad in the right lane, just to at least make them think that we're fighting for it. Okay, so we hit Shang-Chi, not necessarily what we wanted to see, but it does let them know that we have the Shang-Chi in hand. Polaris to the right, Black Bolt to the left, and then we have Enchantress plus Shang-Chi to use on the last turn. So if they go with an armor and then a protected card, I think we should be okay. Now, they do Enchantress the Zabu. So they have an Enchantress. We have to watch out for whenever we use our Hawk in those ways. So do we ever cap out this right lane? That gives us a lot of extra power going, a lot of extra energy going into that last round, which would make up for not having the Zabu. But I think the Black Bolt is going to be more important here. Black Bolt in the left lane, we may or may not get the stature, but at least we're going to know 0 Ebony Maw. It's going to take away one of those upsides, or one of the upsides from them. Doc Ock is kind of cool, because it's going to pull in our Shang-Chi. We're going to take that card out. Maybe Strange Academy pushes it over into the right lane. I guess we don't need the extra energy. No, it's going to cap out our left and right lane. Those we can only play into mid this turn. So we're hoping for something big, I guess. A Hawk would be probably the best thing we could hope for. But we have a pretty good lead over here, pretty good lead over here, and all of that extra energy just going to waste with the stature play here. And so can they beat all of this? I don't think they can. Now they could have a Red Skull, which would be the 14, and Red Skull and Ebony Maw would be exactly what they needed to win here and here. We might lose this one. I think it's too... That is what they had, huh? Shang-Chi. Okay, that brings us to just a tie. The Shang-Chi brings us to a tie in the left lane. We lose mid by 1. We win the point differential. I really thought that was going to be the Red Skull and the Ebony Maw, and we were going to lose. Just like that, we are up in cubes. Sakaar is kind of interesting, depending on what it pulls into. Ooh, their Taskmaster and then our Black Bolt. So we're going to make them discard a card. They get a lot worse of a resource. And so that is going to be a snap if ever... We didn't even have to snap. They retreated. They didn't even want any part of it. That was going to be a snap if we had ever seen one. They're down to 3 cubes. We're moving into the high stakes rounds. So any snap could be the last one that they have. It could lead to the end of the game. Ooh, Hell's Kitchen allows us to draw into our Nebula, which we didn't already have. We have the Zabu for the discount. Kind of want to put a little bit of pressure on them. We don't want to give them too many chances to draw out, and maybe they have a good hand. They would have to win a all-in match 2 times to be able to beat us. I like putting the pressure on early if we are in the advantageous positioning. And so Nebula coming down. They did snap back, so I could expect like a Shuri, Red Skull, Taskmaster style play. In Quantum Realm, Taskmaster is phenomenal value. But we'll see. We'll see if maybe we can play it where we don't get initiative, we can end up doing an Enchantress and a Shang-Chi, which we have Enchantress for the left lane. We have Shang-Chi. We could use both of those on the last turn, which would be phenomenal. I think we're getting more and more comfortable here. We could also use Polaris to try to pull the armor out of Hell's Kitchen. I think we're in a really good spot. They're probably going to want to drop initiative going into the final turn, but since we have our Enchantress and Shang-Chi to use in unison, I don't think it's going to matter or necessarily help them. We're going to do Hawk into mid. They have a Shang-Chi, but they would have to use it in the middle location. Our right lane is going to continue to scale as they don't play cards. I think the Shuri comes down in the left lane, followed by like a Red Skull, and then they're hoping that a Taskmaster would be enough to steal it from there. And I don't think it's going to be able to be enough. All right, so Black Bolt, since we have both the Enchantress and Shang-Chi, we want to have initiative going to this last turn, because their ideal line is going to be like a Taskmaster and a Zero, thinking that the Red Skull is protected. But we're going to be able to take away their armor, destroy it with a Shang-Chi, and then their Red Skull, and then their Taskmaster is going to end up being a 0 power resource. So they do go a little bit more in the left lane. So I'm curious what, a Shang-Chi in Quantum Realm could be scary. But if they do a Taskmaster in the left lane, that's fine. They don't copy anything. And so the Shang-Chi coming down, the Taskmaster in mid is not going to be able to copy anything. The 0 in the left lane, we actually go for a 3-lane sweep by taking out the Red Skull. And that is the thing that I have a hard time getting behind Shuri decks, because they can be countered, and it's hard to know whenever the opponent has that ideal counter. And so we will take the first battle for gold in 5 rounds. Let's jump into the next one. All right, next up we have Small. All right, so we both skip on turn 1 after a little bit of roping. Let's see if, okay, we get a play for turn number 2. Let's go ahead and play it into the right lane. We could play it in the sewer system, but we're just going to throw it into the right lane. Maybe it turns into Sanctum Sanctorum or something beneficial. Onslaught Citadel is not terrible, especially with Zabu. We'll get a deep discount on the Iron Lad to be able to use. Maybe we can do Iron Lad plus a Rock Slide on the next turn, and we can get some benefit there. If we draw into our Hawk, that's going to be huge in the Onslaught Citadel lane. We have the Enchantress if they go heavy into the ongoings, so we'll be able to see from there. The Lockjaw is big. Rock Slide would be beautiful. Okay, no Rock Slide. No Rock Slide, but we're hopeful. We're hopeful that this is going to hit our Rock Slide. That is our read, and we're sticking to it. Let's go Iron Lad. Let's go Korg. We're going to see what it hits. Next turn, we can go Black Bolt to make them maybe discard, depending on if they grab initiative here or not, maybe discard a Mjolnir, maybe discard a Wasp, or something else that they didn't play expecting to rotate it on turn 6. We'll see. All right, Rock Slide. Stature. Oh, well. Well, they know that we have a Stature. We will have that cheap resource on the last turn. They do dig deep into their deck. They only have 1 rock. Wow. And they hit Jane Foster, and then Dr. Doom was massive. Such a huge pull. Let's go Black Bolt in the left lane. Do we even Black Bolt in the left lane? Can we compete for that location at all? I don't know. I think they hold their Wasp. I don't think they rotate it this turn. We are going to go Black Bolt on them. And, oh, no, they do rotate it. Interesting. Okay. Unfortunate. That's a very big left lane. We're going to have to get like a Hawk to play in the right lane. Wave is also brutal. High Evolutionary is their lowest cost card, so it's looking just absolutely stacked. We're gonna need our Rock Disruption early. And I would say as long as we get the Rock Slide, the Korg, then we're favored in the match. It does come down to a little bit of luck, especially with Wave coming into play, potentially coming into play. It does come down to a little bit of luck as well. Let's do Nebula in the right lane. I thought about doing it into Hala, since we know that they're probably going to skip on turn 2, but then they could always Lockjaw and rotate, and that's a little bit scary. Okay, so we get Rock Slide for potentially turn 4. Nothing for turn 2, unfortunately. Titan comes down. Nothing for turn 3 either. So we've drawn our whole bottom half of our deck. They have the Lockjaw Wasp. We're probably going to back out of this one because they got their ideal draw. And when that happens, it's so hard to compete for. The Magneto and Titan is actually mean, it's not the end of the world. We do have Shang-Chi to steal back one location as long as we can compete for the other ones. So something like getting a Zabu into a Hawk. Maybe the Stature can help us a little bit. I don't think this is necessarily just an immediate leave. So we're gonna go Rock Slide. They go Wave early and they're rotating it into their deck. Okay, so maybe hopefully they pull into something else big. Chavez, beautiful, beautiful. Those are all looking like delicious Shang-Chi targets. That is all that I'm seeing right now. We do get our Hawk. We don't have a discount on it with like a Zabu. We don't have Stature. Black Bolt has equal opportunity to hit anything in their hand because everything is 4 right now. But Hawk is going to end up being 10 power. And so I think we do something like Shang-Chi and then Korg to steal this one the rest of the way home. I think we're going to go Hawk instead of the Black Bolt here. So they do go 1 card in Sacred Timeline. Ooh, they go Dr. Doom. Okay. So this is 4, 5, 6. This is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we bring this one up by a little bit. We're going to bring this one up by a touch as well. And I think we're fairly confident. They could have a Wasp that helps them maybe right size one of these other lanes. We'll see. We'll see. It is going to be exactly what it is. Maybe we stack both of these in one lane, but then we're very susceptible to like a high Evo Hulk. I think we split them. I think we split the difference. And we see. Hulk smashes down, and it's the Rock, which is beautiful. We can swing middle back in our favor. The Shang-Chi in the right lane is all that we need, with them having that one so stacked, and we're able to steal the 4. And so it can pump out a lot of damage. High Evo Lockjaw rotation can pump out absurd damage. But if it puts too much out too quickly, it is able to be overcame by a Shang-Chi. And so we steal the 4 away. We're a little bit up. But anytime you're against high Evo Lockjaw rotation, it is a little bit scary. Now, thankfully, it is a little bit less consistent because high Evo Hulk is no longer guaranteed to be like a 20 to 22 power behemoth. It depends on when you draw into him. You can't flip into him and have that 20 to 22 power behemoth either. It really comes down to how quickly you get him on the board or have him in hand. And so it lost a little bit of its edge. And same thing with Wasp, only afflicting 1 card helps just a touch to make it just that much more consistent. And so Limbo extends the game. We're going to switch hands with Mindscape. Neither of us have a way to change locations. We could do Polaris, but I think we want to get Nebula out onto the board. We'll do Rock Slide on 4. They go with the Lockjaw on the right lane. That's unfortunate. But it's also okay. We do get our Shang-Chi. Let's go Rock Slide mid, and I think we've maybe shaken their confidence a little bit. They haven't snapped like they did on turn 1 previously. They get the Thor. They rotate their Thor. How wild. If they pull into Mjolnir here, I'm going to laugh so hard. No, they... It's almost even better. Okay. I think we just do some good mid-range stuff here, right? They will have our Stature. They're going to have our Enchantress, our Shang-Chi, but that right lane is abysmal, and it makes me so incredibly happy. Rotating a Thor, I can maybe see the thought process. Since we're going to switch hands, maybe they wanted to draw into it after we switched hands so that they could then play it and the Mjolnir, but I don't know. It just did not work in practice. We have the Korg, we have the Rock Slide, or we have the Korg, the Zabu. We're just missing the Rock Slide. Let's throw a Korg their way. That Rock Disruption could be the difference between them drawing into Lockjaw, drawing into Thor, drawing into their Wave, their Wasp, those rotation tools that they need. And there's also a chance that they rotate into it, and so now they have to second guess every rotation that they want to do. Xandar is going to be decent. They probably end up doing their Lockjaw there if history repeats itself. But we're going to do our Zabu. We have Iceman right now for next turn, but if we can draw into Iron Lad or Rock Slide, that'll be beautiful. Nebula's not terrible. I think we go Nebula to the left. We'll go Iceman to the right. The right lane is just fodder for our Shang-Chi. We just need to draw into Shang-Chi, and I think we have this one. Ooh, they don't rotate their Wasp? And they play a Rock over there? Wild. Wild game. Oh, and then the ongoings are doubled over here. So we don't know if they have like a Shang-Chi or a counter tool. I don't think they do. I'm just going to go Hawk into the left lane this turn. We'll go Black Bolt next turn. And so far, it looks like they have just awful resources that they've drawn into. And so if they... Okay, Thor's decent. They can use the Thor into Nidavellir. And they snap into us. We do have Polaris plus Enchantress on the last turn. Maybe something a little bit better. Polaris to pull the rock out of Nidavellir, maybe. You know, I think we're gonna stay into this one. I don't know what they could have. The Jane Foster. Jane Foster definitely helps. Because now if that Thor in the middle lane is huge or a lot bigger. No, it's not. It's not. Oof. That is a big old oof. All right, we're gonna do Polaris in the left lane. Actually, that can't grab the Wasp, can it? That can't grab anything right now. I think we still do Polaris in the left lane. That gives us an extra 4. It becomes hard for them to overcome that with like an Evolved Hulk. They could do a Magneto. Ooh, Magneto here, but then that's all that they can do. Yeah, we're gonna lock this in. I think we're okay. They lost their Mjolnir, which would have been 5 power in Nidavellir, 6 power in Xandar. Oh, that's unfortunate, my friend. They could have an Odin to retrigger Wasp. Ooh, just the 1 card in Nidavellir. Oof. Oh yeah, we do pull the rock. That's right. I was thinking Wasp only. That looks like Evo Hulk in the right lane. What do we hit? The Shang-Chi. The Shang-Chi comes down just a touch too late. Can we still win the right lane? We do. Feels good. That deck used to torment me every single Infinite or Gold Conquest run. It feels good to get a cheeky win. All right, next up we have EGOT. I don't know what happened, but EGOT it. I don't know. There has to be some kind of cool joke there. Anyways, they start with Ghost, which is really interesting. You almost never see Ghost. We're going to do Zabu. Next turn, we can hide our Hawk into the Dark Dimension. We have Enchantress, so if they do any other ongoing, so if this is like a... Let's look at it. If this is like a Spectrum ongoing deck... Oh wait, we can't do Hawk because this did not reveal. All right. You know what? I'm just going to do Polaris in the mid. I'm okay if we don't pull anything. I want to get an idea for what this card is. There's so many... Scorpion. Cerebro 2? There's no way it's Cerebro 2, right? We do have Black Bolt. We have Enchantress. We have Stature as well. And so maybe the Ghost? We'll see if this is a 2-cost card. No. What is this deck? We have the Black Bolt and the Stature, so I am going to snap into it, but we'll see. I'm very curious to see what kind of deck this is. The Rescue is wild. The Ghost is so underutilized that it's wild as well. We know that the Rescue goes up to 9. Ooh, Kitty Pryde's gone. Gamora. Ooh, if we can get Shang-Chi off this top deck, this is a guaranteed win in that right lane. That is just Shang-Chi. That's not Shang-Chi. Okay. That is just fodder for Shang-Chi. Let's go Enchantress... Stature, Iceman, Nebula. It's only 8, 10 power in this left lane. Do they have more than 10 power? Maybe. But I have to see it. This is so... I have to see this in game. That's just 1 card. That is scary to see. That's very scary to see. Okay. Captain Marvel is not going to do it. I was very afraid of the 1 card drop in Dark Dimension. We do get the early 4 against... this? I don't know. We're going to jump in. Let's jump into the next one. All right, we get Iceman, but let's go Nebula first. We have the Rock Slide and Iron Lad. And Iron Lad could honestly very easily still be Miles. I just like the Iron Lad tech. You can sometimes get some cool utility out of him. We lose our Rock Slide, they use their Rescue. And so I don't think it's going to be coming to their Rescue. I guess Rescue into a Captain Marvel is kind of cool, because then it can maneuver across the board. But it makes your Rescue within Shang-Chi range, and that is so scary to do. consistently. Let's pull the Polaris over. I'm also not sure where the Ghost fits into this. But we're going to pull their Angela out of the Subterranean lane. The rocks definitely help us if we can potentially get our Hawk. It's not likely, but maybe. Our Iron Lad is very likely to end up hitting a rock. There's 4 of those in the deck, but maybe we hit Hawk. Now we hit Stature. Okay, Stature with the Black Bolt. Beautiful value. Let's go Stature, and we'll have to do it in the left lane. We don't have our Shang-Chi. We don't have our counter tools, but they could have also drawn into rocks or duds as well. Might as well snap into it. This isn't the worst of hands. It was the best of hands. It was the worst of hands. I've had better, but I've also had much worse. Okay, Black Bolt. Okay, Black Bolt gets rid of one of their rocks. The Gamora is big. We're going to have to invest like the Stature over there now, right? Oh, no. Shang-Chi coming in to save the day. Let's go Shang-Chi left. We're going to do Stature to the right, and we're gonna hold on to our rock for dear life. And I think that should grab us another 4, potentially. Ooh, the Spider-Woman in the middle, but that means the right lane has to be really cheap, and so just the rock. Our Stature should overcome that. We overcome the left lane Gamora with our Shang-Chi, and so far, we are taking this one to the bank. I think we can almost start relying on the Infinity Ticket at this point. And honestly, I think no matter what we drew here, we were going to snap on turn 1. We have such a health advantage that we want to continue putting the pressure. Similar in poker, where whenever you have the bigger chip stack, you want to continue putting pressure on the smaller chip stack so that they have to make a decision on maybe not necessarily the best of hands, the best of locations. And so you want to continue putting that pressure on them every single turn while you have that big of an advantage. And whenever you're playing it from the opposite side, it can be so frustrating. It's the strategic, optimal thing to do. Now, of course, if you have like a terrible hand and your lead is only like 1 bar, don't just throw everything all in. Whenever it's 10-2, you want to put the pressure on where you can. They're roping now. I figured out the joke. I think E got mad. I'm just poking fun at you, EGOT. I love you.